Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another video slash episode on this podcast slash YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me today, whether you are listening on Spotify or watching me on YouTube. Welcome or welcome back. So, today we are going to be speaking, as always, from the heart, thoughts running through my mind about this healing journey that just resurfaced this past week, right? So I don't know if who's on TikTok. I'm sure most of you are, but I can't guarantee we're all on the same side, you feel me? Because if you do follow me on TikTok, which you should, I post on there daily. Um, I post mainly like comedy, like stuff that I think is funny, random thought. It's mostly like every time I've gone viral, if you look at my viral section, it's like it's me being funny. Like I'm a little funny, you know? But I also post stuff about my healing journey. I post clips from YouTube, I post just other stuff like that, right? And I remember it started landing this girl's TikToks on my For You page. Her story absolutely broke my heart, okay? I don't want to put all her business out there because I feel like it's her, it's her page to tell. But basically, it's this little girl. She's like a teenager, and she tells and answers a lot of questions about um, CSA, which is child abuse that she went through from her own biological father. I know, literally disgusting, literally makes my blood boil. But this little girl is just like so brave and intelligent. Her videos always land on my page, just answering questions, talking about her healing journey. She says she's reading a book. And I remember one video that she posted spoke to me, like, spoke to me so deep, okay? Because although um I was not a victim of SA as a child, as a minor. I went through it as an adult about 2 years ago in a partnership. She went through it as a child from, very different stories. But I remember her saying that like when she had to make her confessions and talk to law enforcement and stuff, like it was very hard for her to speak, obviously, because it's a sensitive topic. But she was saying like she didn't even get to a place until like multiple years and like going to therapy where she could tell the full truth because she was saying that it's just like honestly when you go through things like that and the people who hurt you, like you're so traumatized with the people who hurt you just act like nothing's wrong or like it's normal, like they just show no remorse, like it really makes you question yourself and be like, am I being dramatic, like did I make that up? um she was saying how she remembers a lot of times when she had to give her confession saying like he tried to do this, he tried to do that, but she's like he did, like he literally did, but like it was just hard for me to say that. And boy, have I been there. When I first told anybody about the abuse that I've been through, which was my dad, I remember saying that like my ex used to try to make me do these things. Like he used to harass me. Um, or like sometimes I would just give in, sometimes I wouldn't. He would literally just do it even though I said no. I'm like, he literally succeeded, but it was so hard for me to be like, oh, he did that. Like I just tried to have like it's so hard. It's so hard. Like abuse literally plays tricks on you. It plays mind games with you. Especially another point that she hit so hard was like people were really being so rude to this young girl who's telling her truth. Like she's telling her truth. Her abuser got convicted, all of that. But even if he didn't, why would I just believe this girl is making all this up? Like, it's just right? And some people, she responded to one of the comments because one of the comments was literally like, um, if your dad did that to you, like, why did you still be around, want to be around him? If someone really did that to you, wouldn't you be scared? Da da da. And first of all, fuck you. Like whoever said that, what are you really talking about right now? I'm sure you've never been through that type of abuse. So why are you speaking? But anyway, she responded and was just like, that's the crazy thing about abuse is like a lot of times your abusers, they're not just rude to you all the time. Like if our abusers were just so mean and evil and like rude to us all the time, I think it would be a lot easier for us to get out of cycles of abuse, but they're not, y'all. Like they're not. It's like literally when you look up abuse and cycles and why people stay in it for so long, it's because there's such a push and pull in abusive relationships. When my abuser was not being sexually or emotionally abusive, I really thought that, like, oh, that was the nicest boyfriend I've ever had, because he would be the type to always shower me with compliments like, I love you, I love you, I love you, never failed, and I love you, never failed, all of that. I love you, you're so beautiful, you're the most beautiful girl in the world, like this, and that. Like, that was really how it was, like, half the time. But that's the thing about abuse, is like, as soon as your abuser doesn't have positive feelings about you, it's so confusing, because it's like I was so loved and showered in compliments when he wasn't upset with me, but then when he is upset with me, all of a sudden it's, you're disgusting, you're this, no one would ever deal with this, like no one would ever want to date you, no one thinks like you, this, and this. It would, like, literally emotional abuse to isolate me. And so it'd be so confusing, because I remember I would get to those points where I'll be like, no, like this is wrong. I was like, I can't deal with this. So I would like try to break up with him. When he would just literally just shit on me, and be so mean over like such little things. He would like, no, start crying. A whole waterworks, like, no, 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 I didn't mean that. I'm not gonna do that again, blah, blah, blah. And then the cycle would just continue. Like, no, I love you so much. Post me, appreciate me, comment on my pictures, be like, are you hungry? I'll DoorDash you food. This isn't this. And it would just be literally off and on, night and day. Anyways, seeing that girl's story, just those 2 points about how your abusers aren't always mean to you and they don't always harm you, because when they don't, they're basically love bombing you and showering you with what you want. Trauma is very confusing. It's very confusing when something affects you so and harms you so deeply, and other people act like, the people who cause it don't act like they don't know what they did. It really makes you think you're messing stuff up. I think I'm going to start with why people stay in abuse and continue to want to be around their abusers. Break the video up into two little parts. So I remember this was like a very common occurrence. When I opened up to my friends about how my last relationship really was. And mind you, when I first broke up, I told you I had a very delayed reaction to my essay. I made a lot of excuses because I used to love that boy. Even during the breakup, I still tried to speak so highly of him and make so many excuses because I just felt bad. Um, because I just knew he was miserable. Like, I remember telling my friends the truth about the emotional abuse, like the stuff he would call me, things he would do, like just pulling away his love, pulling away his kindness, going crazy on me and stuff over the littlest stuff. And I remember, like, literally all my friends would just be like, he sounds crazy. Like, he sounds crazy. Or like, what? That's crazy. Like, Alisha, why did you deal with that? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm telling y'all, it's so confusing because I'm telling you guys the bad parts right now. But when you're with the person, that's like, the bad parts isn't all it is. I'm not saying that one side matters than the other, but it's just like, it's so confusing. I would literally just think when I was in that relationship, I mean, like, to my knowledge, I felt like that was the most loyal someone has ever been to me. You know, if I said that person had me unfollowed, I said she had to go, she had to go. If I said something made me uncomfortable, it was cut. If I said like anything like that, it was literally almost never a problem, right? And that's bare minimum. That's bare minimum to respect your partner over anybody else. And it's not like I would ever create problems based off people that didn't need to, like people who he didn't even have a pat. Like, it's not like I would like create problems. It would be like real reasons where I would be like, they gotta go, right? They gotta go, or I don't like this, or why are you following someone like this? They gotta go. And I remember they would go. And I remember I would think, like, in my past relationships, boys would make me feel like, that was a huge ass. That was a huge ass. Like, yeah, I slept with her, but she's still my friend. I'm sure we've all been there before. And if we have, I'm sorry. Those were the types of reactions I used to get from my exes, that it was just like so hard to do what I say. No, I'm like, I'm playing. To like respect me and just like be loyal as much as I am, because anything I ask, I always say this, y'all, anything spiritually, mentally, emotionally, I ask for in relationships, I 100% could reciprocate it. Same thing if he was like, oh, who's this guy? I'm like, oh, I had a crush on him in like high school. He's like, could you unfollow him? Like you kind of used to like him. Like, yeah, yeah. Like, I don't care about him. It doesn't matter. Like to me, it literally does. Anything I asked of him, I could reciprocate. Um, so yeah, I remember stuff like that would just make me think like, but I've never met a guy who was so reciprocal and loyal, like in this type of way. Like, it's just like the positives of when they're not abusing you really mess with your head. Because I'm like, well, he is a good boyfriend in that sense. He's like very, very loyal. Like, that's one thing I would always think of. But girl, he's abusive. Like, he's abusive. Like, what? Okay, he's loyal. That is the bare minimum. And to any other young people dealing with people like that, loyalty is the bare minimum. Respecting you is the bare minimum. Making room for how you feel and why you feel these things is the bare minimum. And so when he would do that, whenever he wasn't abusing me, I was like, but that does make him a good boyfriend. But how is he a good boyfriend if he's doing that? Which is obviously like a positive, but it's still the bare minimum. But then he's also calling you out of your name, um, constantly isolating you, constantly telling you that you're this, you're that, you're this when you're mad at me, or that no one thinks like you, or no one would want to date you when you're mad at me. Like, how is someone okay? He's loyal, but girl, why? He's loyal, but he harasses you when you don't want to do things he wants to do, or he just does it to you anyway. Like, it's like when you're in abusive relationships, you have to think about the priorities. But again, I understand how it feels, because like I was in that situation, and I really just thought like, I don't know, when you love someone, you think the good always outweighs the bad, but that's not the truth. And it's like a tactic. It's a tactic that honestly, sometimes I think people are just so miserable with themselves. Sometimes the abusers, I don't even think about what they do. Like, it's literally just in them. It is in miserable people. I whew, I want to make this a whole separate um story video. I touched on it a little bit at the end of my last video, but y'all, just a couple days ago, I had a very traumatizing day where I actually confronted my abuser, my abusive ex. Um, I confronted him. He reached out to me. He found my YouTube. He's being a fan. He's probably watching this right now. Um, and he reached out to me, right? He basically wanted to apologize to me for everything except the sexual abuse, the essaying. When I said like, what are you specifically apologizing for? You mean when you used to do this to me? And he said, dead straight, I never did that. No, I'm not talking about that. Huh? Oh, like, you right, bro. Like, you right. I just pay hundreds of dollars for therapy just to make shit up. My panic attacks and my anxiety and my lack of sleep and my fears of intimacy, that's all just a joke. That's all just make believe. You're so right. You're so right. The fact that I can even make light of this, like how I was talking about it right now, is crazy. Because this was literally like 3 days ago, and it was rough. I had a panic attack. I was crying, stuff like that. It's just very traumatizing to even hear from someone who caused you that type of trauma. But again, y'all, that is just like what I just said. How it's like some abusers, either they're lying, like he's probably lying, honestly. Um, they either lie, or I feel like they're just so miserable and full of themselves they don't even see what they did wrong. Because I'm like, that's so crazy for you to just tell me that my truth is not true. That what you caused me is not true. And I'm so glad that this situation happened to me at this point in this healing in my healing journey. Whew. Where I'm not past it, because I'll never be fully healed. I feel like from that abuse, the emotional abuse, making me feel like I'm so lovable, unlovable, and I'm such a terrible person, and no one will ever want to deal with me except for you. And then literally the essay, the violation of my body, and just the harassment and the guilt I carry from those situations. I'll never ever fully be healed from that. Um, but I'm glad I got it at a stage where I'm strong enough to be like, my abuser can sit up in my face and tell me that he never did that, and I don't question myself. Because I questioned myself so much at the beginning when he wasn't even in the picture. Like, we were already broken up, and I was still just questioning myself, being like, I don't know, is it this? Is it the G word? Is it the S? Like, not the G word. I'm like, is it, people say, have different words for it? Like, I was trying to find the language, and then I was just always trying to downplay myself. Like, was it that bad though? Because I feel like what other people go through is well. Like, I had so much questions by myself, and I'm just so proud of myself that at this point in my journey, I can literally just be like, wow, that's crazy. Like, literally after he said that, I just like I didn't even want a conversation. All I wanted to know was if he was going to admit that, and he didn't. Whether he admitted it or not, or apologized for it or not, doesn't make you a good person. It doesn't make it go away. Um, so yeah, I'm just glad that I used to be in that stage of my healing journey of being confused because of, like I said, this push and pull of abusive relationships, questioning myself. I'm just glad that I'm at this point now where when my abuser literally tried to make me question myself by saying he never did that, I didn't. And I just did on business. And this is a tangent. I'm sorry, this is a tangent. But I feel like it was relatable. It was relatable. Ugh, that was such a traumatizing day. But I do want to share that story eventually because I feel like it's good for community and maybe for other people to hear. And I am proud of myself for um stomping on business. Now, on to part two of this episode. Part two of one of those points I picked up from the lovely young lady on TikTok telling her story is questioning if your trauma is real, if it was that bad, it feels made up, all that stuff, which I literally just realized I kind of went into when I touched on confronting my abuser the other day, when he just straight up told me he didn't do that. Um, so, yeah, questioning yourself, questioning trauma, specifically SA. I remember before the the physical violation of my body started, it really started with harassment, like being like basically wanting me to show myself on the phone, have phones. And I'm honestly someone who's not really into that, like at all. I'd rather just talk about it or be about it. Like, I don't know, it just makes me uncomfortable to just put myself out in that way, which is completely fine. And obviously he makes me even more uncomfortable now that of what I've been through. But I remember that was something that would be a nonstop conversation. Like, do you want to do this? I'd be like, no, I'll watch, but I don't really want to participate. Or maybe sometimes I didn't want to watch. Like, I was like, I just want to talk to you. Like, I'm not in that mode, you know? Um, and then, yeah, I just remember him turning so cold. Like, okay, well, I'm gonna take a nap. Okay, well, I'll talk to you later. Okay, I can't talk anymore. And mind you, this is not just some random boy on the street. This is my boyfriend who's in love with me and loves me. And I remember it would just make me feel so shameful. I would confront him about it sometimes and be like, "You don't see how that's really rude? How you just want to talk to me, but then when you turned it into that and I didn't reciprocate, you didn't want to." It was like, "Do you like see how that makes me feel and how messed up that is?" And he would be like, "It's not because you didn't want to do that. It's just because I'm tired now. It's just because I just realized I have other stuff to do now." Every single time, every single time, y'all, that was so not true. Like, it was so not true. He would literally just be upset that he didn't get what he wanted. um yeah, I would literally cry and stuff, and he would just like, and that's what I'm saying, when your abusers react that way, it really makes you question, like, am I crazy? Like, am I crazy? Because that's what they try to do. Like, he knows he knew damn well that he didn't want to talk to me anymore because I wasn't reciprocating. He was someone with problems and addictions. And yeah. And for someone to just like so calmly explain to you that you're being dramatic, why are you crying? Why are you like it makes you feel insane. It makes you feel insane. That was such a common occurrence in that like abusive relationship, which is like kind of falls under emotional abuse, even though it's like sexual harassment. I just feel like because I was always dealt with in that type of way, when I was made uncomfortable, um, not physically, but I guess verbally, emotionally, when I was the few times that he actually did like essay me and like do stuff when I told him no. I never brought it up. Like I had a very delayed reaction if you've seen some of my other videos when I've talked specifically about like my trauma. Um how I learned through therapy and like a lot of resources that it's very common to have delayed reactions, you know? I always remember feeling uncomfortable. Um I would feel uncomfortable and feel weird, but I would never like address it to him, you know? Because again, I would question myself. There's so much like questioning when stuff like that happens to you. Because I used to think essay is like something violent and random that happens from random men you don't know. But I was like, no, this was literally just my partner who said he loved me, who started doing something, I would say, no, I don't want to do that right now. And he would just ignore me and keep doing it. I didn't like try to fight him. He didn't hold me down, nothing. Like after I already told you no or said stop and you just ignored me, I just kind of like froze, you know? Um, and I think that, well, first of all, abuse like that shouldn't happen in your relationship period. But I think because of the ways that he dealt with me when it came to the harassment of just not even want to like do nudes or phone stuff. I feel like mentioning my uncomfortability with those situations wasn't even worth it because it's like I already know I'm gonna get gaslighted. I already know it's gonna be, oh, what are you trying to say? What are you like? I already know it's not going to be met with a safe space. So I just felt like I shouldn't even try, which is how I low key felt about um, the confrontation I had the other day. Like I did feel upset a little bit because I just feel like I don't know why I had hope in my own abuser, but abusers, especially when it comes to sexual trauma, like almost never admit, even when there's concrete evidence. Y'all see it in the media. No one ever wants to admit to something like that. So I'm just like, wow, like the fact that you reached out to me, I gave you one chance to come clean, and you straight up said you never did that. I was just like, it just shows it just shows that people like abusers just either lie to themselves and other people and they just I don't know. Y'all, I don't even know. I don't even know where I'm going with this. This is honestly really hard for me to record, especially with the situation being fresh and the media. Oh, it's always very hard for me to consume other people's stories because like dang, I'm already living my own story, seeing other people's stories, um hearing other people's experiences. Like I feel like it literally doesn't get easier to me. It breaks my heart every single time, which I'm not saying this is a safe space, this is a community, this is what I do it for. Like if anybody wants to comment or relate or talk to me, oh my god, which some of you guys do, some of you guys have been messaging me on Instagram. You guys are so sweet. Like you guys don't understand the nice comments you leave or messages you send me where you tell me that like you feel seen or you like my videos. Like y'all, I really be smiling ear to ear. Like I mess with y'all so hard. I just made a video like that on TikTok too, where I was saying how I'm a very small creator, but I really do appreciate you guys and the interaction, and I feel the love. But anyways, guys, let me wrap this up. Let me wrap this up because I'm going all over the place, but I feel like these are also the realest videos because where are the notes at? This is just purely experience and trauma and stuff from my heart. Like what? Okay, anyway, y'all. Shout out to that young lady who was being so brave, putting her story out that I mentioned at the beginning, who gave me the points for this video. One, questioning your trauma is so real because of how abuse works. Two, wanting the fact that you were stayed in abuse so long or still wanted to be around your abuser when the time came, or maybe you're in a situation like that now, is so valid again because of how abuse works, because it's not so one-sided how people like to make it. Your abusers know what they're doing. They push and pull. They're nice to you when they need you to reel you back in. They abuse you. It repeats. It repeats. I was in it for a year. um yeah, so to anyone who relates to those 2 points, you are so valid. Please don't question yourself. Your your fears and your emotions and all the stuff you carry on your back from that situation are not for fake. And no one can take that away from you, okay? Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening to me yap, yap, yap all over the place. I literally recorded a little segment before I started getting into this. I felt like I wanted something cute to end with. One, because my dog is my world, but two, because, like I said, I knew it was gonna be heavy talking about specifically about my trauma from my past relationship with the situation so fresh. I knew it was gonna be heavy. You feel me? Um, So I don't know. I put together a little something. You guys can check it out. Comment right now that Stitch is the most adorable baby boy that you've ever seen in adorable fur baby that you've ever seen in your life, because you know it's true. Roll the clip, please. Today we have a very special guest. Um, First off, I just want to know, how are you doing today, sir? You have anything to say to the people? Okay, okay, okay. Um, do you watch my YouTube or listen to my podcast? Um, yeah. Okay. So you have been my dog for about a decade. You've seen me through depression, heartbreak, anxiety. Um, literally, literally, don't ever be rude to your pets and not greet them when you come in the door. You're their whole world, even if they're just part of yours. Okay. Stitch is giving very, very nonchalant, very, right now. But when I first started going through depression, he's the type of dog to when you cry, just look at you like you're crazy. But I remember when I was going through depression, like when I was like going through really bad, he would actually come in there, just lay in my room. One time I was having a panic attack so bad, he hopped on the bed. And you know how dogs like offer their paw for support? Here, Stitch. Come here, paw. Here, paw. Yeah, he's very nonchalant. So he's not gonna do that shit now. But like, I was like, oh, he really does care when I'm going through it. But he know. Hey, hey, hey! The camera's this way, sir. TT. But when he knows I'm really going through it, he's nice to me sometimes. I have so many meme pictures of Stitch I should be using for my story times. But all right, we're gonna close out this interview, Golden Boy. Do you have anything to say to the people? Speak. Speak to them. Speak to them. Speak to them, baby. Okay. God damn it, Stitch. Look at my fucking pants. All right. If you guys follow me on TikTok, you've already seen him a million times, but hey to the YouTube. Okay. Okay. I got a lot to do today. I hope you took something away from this video that helped you, made you feel seen, comment down below. Like I said, I love the messages. I love talking to you guys. I really appreciate you guys and love what I do. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.